Let's see how you work with working with Excel operations. Excel. First of all, what is Excel? Why do we use Excel sheet? Excel is nothing but a workbook. A workbook contains a sheet. Sheet contains rows. Rows contains cell. That is a hierarchy of Excel, right? Workbook, sheet, row, cell. Workbook will be saved in your destination file somewhere else. Sheet will be stored within the workbook. Rows are stored within the sheet. And columns are stored within the rows. That's a web table concept we work, right? Do you remember that? Same thing. Hierarchy will be the same. So, what is the main purpose of Excel means? Yesterday, we have seen Notepad. Notepad, when you want to check with multiple set of data, we don't have rows and columns in that, right? So, it is not that easy to automate, to store your multiple data in Notepad especially. So, that's the reason any framework we work, we should take help of Excel operations. With help of Excel sheet, we can store huge number of data. How much data you want, we can take number of sheet and we can store whatever data you require. That means through Excel sheet, we are storing data in Excel sheet, and through this Excel sheet, we are sending the test data to your Selenium scripts and executing the scripts. And all of you know, Excel is not a WebDriver related. It's not linked with anything with WebDriver. It's a third-party tool. All of you know, Selenium supports only web applications, but not these third-party tools like Excel and all that. So if I want to handle Excel file, we have to take help of one concept here that is called Apache POI. Apache POI concept. Both Java packages plus Apache packages. Okay, so Java provides different classes for file manipulations with Selenium. We can perform Excel read and write operations with help of Java input output packages and Apache POI libraries also. So what is Apache POI library? That we'll see. It's that Java classes. All of you will learn in input stream. File input stream is one of the best class. Okay, Java class. Whenever you want to open or you want to make connection to your actual file specified in your system, or we can simply say when you want to specify the path of your Excel file, then we can take help of this file input stream. Okay, and output stream, it's for writing purpose. When you want to write your workbook, new workbook, when you want to create new workbook and to write your outputs into that workbook, then we have to take help of file output stream. Input stream is for what? Reading data. Output stream is for what? Writing new workbook and writing data into that new workbook. These two are Java related. They're not belonging to Apache POI. They're belonging to Java. These two packs comes under Java packages. Okay. And here, what is this Apache POI? Apache POI is a popular API, application programming interface, which allows programmers to create and modify and display MS Office files using Java programs. Whenever you want to Excel, what we do in Excel here, we read data from Excel, we write data in Excel. It supports complete MS Office. We don't want to worry about MS Office. We're worried about only Excel. So in Excel, what we can do, we can read data, we can write data. So when you want to perform this kind of operations, this Apache POI will be very useful for us. POI stands for PUR, Application Implementation. So this Apache POI is providing you some jar files. So far, we have been using only single jar file, right? Up to now, standalone server jar file, because we worked on WebDriver top to concepts. That's the reason we meant only single jar file, standalone. This is only for WebDriver support. It won't support in Excel operations. We can't do any Excel operations. So to perform Excel operations and methods, we have to download some jar files, Apache POI jar files, third party. How? I'll show how to add jar files also. I'll show you how to download them also. I'll show you. This POI having two. See, there are two types of Excel, I think. All of you, I think, I hope all of you know the two types of Excel we have. XLS, XLSX. This Apache supports, POI supports for reading and writing in both XLS. XLS means 97 to 2003. We used to say .XLS, right? Lower versions. Higher versions, latest versions, nowadays we have 2007, 13 something. These versions are still with what? .XLSX. XLSX. This is a format, remember, okay? That means even if data is stored in lower version, we can take help of this. If data is stored in higher version, we can take help of this extension, okay? And here, whenever you want to read data in lower version, XLS, when you want to read data, we have to go with one class implementation that is called HSSF. HSSF stands for horrible spreadsheet format. Horrible spreadsheet format. So when we use this class, whenever you want to read data and write data, which is stored in lower version .XLS 97 to 2003. If your data saved in that. No. I want to read data in higher versions, XLSX. Then we have to take help of one more class called XSSF. XML spreadsheet format. I repeat again, XML spreadsheet format. HSSF stands for horrible spreadsheet format. Okay, so this Apache POI supports both versions, no problem. No. I want to use let the data stored in higher version, let data stored in lower version. I want to go with interfaces. Yes, we don't want to use XSF, HSF directly. We can go with interfaces. Look at that. Two classes we have. When data is stored in lower version, we have higher version. We have to use this lower version. We have to go with this HSF workbook. When you want to create workbook, when you want get sheet from workbook, when you want get row from sheet, when you want get cell from a row. Interface, see that interface are what? Common. Workbook, sheet, row, cell. Let data stored a higher version or lower version, we can take directly help of this workbook, because I told you, all of you know, already know interface. We are already familiar with that interface like WebDriver. WebDriver can implement to any class or not. We are implementing to any browser class, Chrome browser, Firefox driver, Opera, Safari, Internet Explorer driver. It's common. It can implement to any class, the methods, right? The same way, we can directly use interface. So if you use interface, what advantage we have here? If you go with interfaces, we can access data, let the data be in lower version or let the data be in higher version, we can access. But if you want separately use them, higher versions means, then go with these classes. For workbook, create object. For sheet, create one object. For row, create one object. For cell, create one hierarchy. Look at that hierarchy. First workbook, then sheet, then row, then cell, anywhere. Okay, so in real scenarios, which is best one, you tell me? Sometimes your data will be stored, your company may store lower version, or sometimes your company may store higher version. In that situation, what you do? Which you will take? Will you go with interface or will you go with respect to class?
Interface.
Interface. What advantage we have with interface?
Supports both
Commonly
lower and higher version.
It supports both higher version and
Lower and
version.
higher version.
So we can access data, let it be in lower version or let it be in higher version. We are able to access data. So we will see how to use practically. I'll show you. And coming to implementations, interface and classes. Look at that. Workbook. Workbook is a interface. Correct? This workbook can implement to both classes, XSF class or HSF class. Okay, if you are planning with XSF, then implement to this. Or we can implement to HSF workbook also. This is representing what? Lower version. This is representing what? Higher version. No, I don't want class means directly go with workbook. Not only workbook, sheet also. Sheet is also interface. The sheet interface can implement to higher version or lower version. Create object to access that methods. Not only that, not only sheet, row also. Look at the row. Row is also one interface. Row interface can implement to higher version class or lower version class. HSF or XSF. Next one, what is the next one we have? Cell. Cell is also interface which can implement to higher version or lower version. So which is best way we can use them? There is no, but we have different things, but which is the best way we can implement them? And these are the classes we have, classes and interfaces we have. And what are the methods? Methods, what I'm discussing right now, they're common. So remember all of you, when you take Excel hierarchy, so here you're taking, say for example, username as one column, and you're taking as password column, and you're taking one result column, some two columns here we have, assume that, and you're taking some data, test1, admin1. You may take different data here. And this is 0, this is 1, and this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 0 sheet, 0, second sheet 1, third sheet 2. What does it mean? What understood? These are 1, 2. These are 1, 2 columns. These are rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are sheets 1, 2, 3. Remember what I'm telling this, what the meaning of this diagram is. Row number number of rows. These are number of rows, and these are number of cells or columns. Okay, these are number of columns. We count columns this way. Okay, these two columns, we count columns this way, and we count rows this way, right? And number of sheets. Remember, row number, column number, sheet number, index number start from 0. 0 sheet, first sheet. 0 row, first row. 0th column, first column. If data stood in third sheet, what the row number you define here? A sheet number you define. If I want to retrieve data from third sheet, what the sheet number you define? Number, index number.
It's 2.
2. Because 0, 1, 2. Right? Because 0 means first sheet, starting from 0. If I want to retrieve testify data from a row, what the row number you specify?
అంటే
పేటిఎం గూగుల్ ప్లే స్టోర్ నుంచి తీసేసారు
కామెడీ ఇంతలేదు
Mute your mic.
ఏముంది
When you're talking personal things, mute your mics, please. Okay, so when you are planning to get row number first row means 0th row, right? When you're talking about 6th, 5th row data means what the row number you can define?
6.
5. Yes or no? 5. So always remember, when you take data from first row, always we take data first row. Headers, leave headers first. Your test data always start from second row. Okay, na? That we'll see. But let us see. But remember, row number, index number, column index number, sheet index number, always start from 0
Zero.
index. 0 index. Okay, remember. What are the methods we need to learn? Let us see. Methods, what are the methods we have? Let us learn one by then we'll have. These are very important here. Any framework you want to work, without knowing these methods, we cannot do. First method is get sheet. Get sheet. See that get returning. Get is always returning. Remember, get. Suppose your data stored in first sheet, right? Your data, assume that you stored your data in first sheet. You want return that sheet with number, with sheet name. Get sheet means
Get sheet of
return,
0.
return sheet from where? From WB workbook with sheet name. Sheet name with name. We have to get with name. What is the syntax for this? Get sheet within brackets. You tell your sheet name. In which sheet you store data, you define. Suppose you may rename your sheet. Suppose I'm renaming my sheet as login. Suppose. Yes, we rename like this, no problem. Now I want it to login sheet. I want return this login sheet. Then go with the get sheet method, no problem. No. I don't want sheet name. I want get a sheet with index number. Then we use method called get sheet at. Look at that. Get sheet at. It returns sheet from where? From WB. W means workbook. Workbook with what? With index.
Sheet index value.
Index number. So when you are planning to get a sheet from a number, you can go with the help of this get sheet method. Get sheet at, and you can define here index number means sheet number. In which sheet you have data, you define. Suppose my data stored in first sheet. What that number you define here? That number will be 0. If data stored in 50th sheet, 50th, 50, assume that. My data stored in 50th sheet. What that number you define here?
49.
49.
9.
Right? Because starting from 0, first sheet we should take 0. Okay? So either we can get a sheet with a name or we can get a sheet with number. Not a problem.
Index number.
Yes. Next method is get row. Compulsory. Get row. What is the purpose of this get row method? It returns
You want to access the row from the sheet.
specific row from where? From sheet or workbook? Sheet. From sheet. Which row you want written? You define that. Row, get row. Here we have to say row number. Tell that row number, which row number you want. Next, get cell. Get cell. What is the purpose of this method? It returns
Specific column.
Specific
Column from the row or cell from the row. Column or cell.
specific cell from row. Because why? Why are you getting from row columns? Because columns are stored within
Stored in the rows.
row. So what the syntax for that? Get cell and tell your column number. Which column you want to get that. So hierarchy, we cannot directly get a column. Before getting a column, we have to get a row and then get a column. Hierarchy. Why? Because columns are stored within rows. We cannot directly get a row. First we have to get a sheet and then we have to get a row. We cannot directly get a sheet. First we have to get workbook and then from that workbook. Hierarchy, that's hierarchy. Okay. Next, I want to count number of rows in a sheet. Get last row num. You are taking number of rows here, right? In a sheet. I just want to count number of rows. How many rows are there in this sheet? Login sheet. Up to last row, how long I have taken. Count completely. Then take help of this method. It counts, it returns. Get means returns always. It returns number of rows in a sheet. I want to count number of columns. Where we can count number of columns, anybody?
Within the row.
Rows,
Because number
right?
of columns are same here.
Rows. We count columns from rows. We count rows from sheet. That's hierarchy, right? I want to count, most of the time we always count headers only. First row will take headers, columns. I just want to count number of columns in a row. Then we use get last cell num. Get last cell num. Okay. So what it returns? It returns number of cells in a
Row.
row. In which row you're counting columns, you specify that row, it will get that column number. How many columns are there in that first row or second row, whatever maybe. 99% will count always in first row only. Why? Because first row will be always taken as headers. Now, suppose I'm taking, see, I stored my column in this username column string type data. I want to retrieve string type data from the cell. String type data from a cell. Then we have to use a method called, one more method, get string cell value. Get string cell value. Okay. So what is the purpose of this method? It returns string type data from a cell. String type data from a cell. Not only that, suppose sometimes there is a chance to store integer type data also in a cell. You may store integer type data. Yes, 100%. When you send PIN number, mobile numbers, we have to go with integer type only. No other option we have, right? So whenever you want to retrieve the data is in the form of string type, then we should take help of a method called get numeric cell value. Get numeric cell value. So it returns what? It returns double type data from a cell. Double means floating value. It won't return integer directly. Double type only. It return double type always. Okay, these are all for what? We use all these methods. We use for what? For retrieving data from a sheet and all that, right? Yes, sometimes you may take one column, say results column over here. You know, all of you, what is the purpose of results? For writing purpose, we take this, right? And these two columns we take for reading purpose. And this column is for writing purpose. Now, I want to create a cell. How to create a cell? If I want to create a cell, then we say method called create cell. Where the cell will create here? Cell means column. Creating cell where? In a row. Why you are creating a cell? To write something. And after creating that cell in a row, I want to write some text in that. Say for example, I want to write as pass. Whenever it is pass, I want to write as fail. Whenever it is fail. Test cases to understand how many tests pass, how many iterations are pass, how many iterations are fail, right? After comparing. Yes, to write that text in a cell, then we use set cell value. See that all these are methods. We don't type, we access all of them, don't worry. Set cell value. What is the purpose of this method? To write
value into cell.
Yeah, to write value into a cell. How to write? Here create cell means we have to say syntax should be compulsory. How to create a cell here? Create a cell. And what you say here? What cell you want to create? Give that column.
Cell name.
Column number. No names here, only numbers. Okay, we have to go with only numbers, no names. And when you want to write something, some text, then set cell value, then tell that what text you want to write, tell that in double quotation, string type only, right? So tell that text to type in that cell. So these these two belonging to what? These two belonging for writing purpose. See that get means always reading. Create and set means writing. Remember, these two are very important. And after that, see, it write something, it'll read the data and write something. And I want to create into new workbook. I want to write all this complete workbook into new workbook. If you want to write it into new workbook, then we should take one more method called as write method. Write method. What is the purpose of this write method? Writing into new workbook. When you want to write into new workbook, why you're writing means for storing results purpose. Okay. So these are the basics. See, you work with XSF, I don't care. Or you work with interfaces also, I don't care. Methods will be same. Methods are common to either lower version or higher version. What is HSSF stands for? Anybody? HSSF stands for HSSF stands for HSSF stands for last 10 days back I discussed, I think, right? 10 days back, 10 days or 20 days back? Last 15 minutes back I discussed. HSSF stands for horrible spreadsheet format. Horrible spreadsheet format. Any one of you tell me to which we use that particular class component, to which for which class we implement it?
XLS,
XLS, lower version. Simply say lower version, XLS. Whenever your data stored in lower version, then go with HSSF. XSSF, anybody? Stands for XSSF stands for XML spreadsheet format. XML spreadsheet format. Where we can implement this class, to what we can implement? Whenever you want to read and write data that is stored in XLSX higher versions. Remember this simple things. Okay, but interfaces. When we go for what are interfaces? Tell me anybody. What are interfaces we have? What are interfaces we have? Fast. What are interfaces we have? Workbook. Yeah.
Sheet,
row, cell.
Cell.
Simple hierarchy. See, Excel here. Remember, simple Excel. We save this Excel. If you save anything anywhere, it's a workbook. From that workbook, we get a sheet. From that sheet, we get rows. From the rows, we get columns. Column number, sheet number, row number starts from
Row.
0. What is 0? What is the meaning of 0?
Index value of that.
Yes, index value only. What is that 0? What is the meaning of that 0? What does it mean? First value, right? It can be first sheet, it can be first row, or it can be first column. Okay, don't forget. So practically we will see them. But before working with the methods practically, first of all, what you need to do, see, we have only standalone. This won't help us. This will not work out for these methods, what I told you, these methods and the classes which I told you. If you want to access all these methods and classes and all that, compulsory we have to download some jar files. The jar files are nothing but Apache POI. Apache POI. So go to Google search and type here download. All of you should add this download POI. Type that download POI. I'll give URL to you. Wait. This is a URL. I'm giving to your chart. All of you note that URL, please. Please note the copy down and save to notepad. Note this URL. Did not note this URL, all of you?
Yes.
Copy that and save to notepad. That's it. Okay. So that after giving that URL, yes, So that's what I told you. Apache Software Foundation. Initial class, I told you. What I told you initial class, beginning of Selenium. Selenium, all Selenium projects are licensed under Apache Software Foundation. Remember, this is a software foundation. It is free of, no need to pay anything to them. No worry. It's a free of open source only. So here we have stable versions. Now the stable version is 4.1.2 zip. This is a stable version we have right now. But the stable, this latest versions, the problem with these versions is they're not allowing us to do some formatting. Formattings. When you do formatting in Excel, like what is that formatting we do? Suppose whenever my test case is passed, I want to make it as green color. I want to turn it as green color. Whenever my test case fail, I want to make that format as red color. That formatting is not possible with that latest version. For our visibility purpose, we have tried this kind of formatting also, right? That's not possible. So what I'm doing, instead of going with this latest version, come down. So that at the bottom, if I see binary, you have to click on this binary artifacts. Just click on this binary artifacts. Just click on it. In this binary artifacts, it shows all versions from starting version. Don't worry. From starting version to latest versions, we can see. Here, what I'm using the versionaries for that formatting and all that, I'm going with 3.16th version. I'm going with what? 3.16. There are a lot of 3.16, 3. Don't confuse. So that we should download this. We have to click on this. Click on this. POI-bin 3.16.zip file. Remember that zip file. Okay? Click on it. If you click on it, it downloads in a WinRAR. After downloading it, try to extract that into any one drive. Okay? Try to extract that into any one drive, wherever you want. Right click on it, show in folder. Right click on it, extract file. I'm extracting into F drive. I'm extracting all the jar files into F drive. So that after extracting, you'll get a folder like this. Right? Open this, we get lot of jar files. We have to add all of them under this, and we need to add OOXML also. These 2 jar files we should add, and also we should add under lib also. All these jar files one by one we should add to your project. Under which project you're working? From today, if you're planning to access Excel methods to any project in Eclipse, compulsory, we should. Suppose if you want to work under this orange HRM, we must add that jar file. Jar files is common here. How to add jar files now? Right click on Jar System Library, build path, configure build path. Click on Add External Jars button. Now try to browse your jar files where they're stored in my F drive. Double click this Apache POI folder. Double click this. Control A, select all of them. It won't add folders. Don't worry. It'll add only jar files. Open it. Don't say apply and close. Still we need to add some more. Again, click on Add External Jars. Double click on OOXML. These 2. Control A again. Control A. Select all of them. Open it. Again, click on Add External Jars. Go back to POI. Click on this POI folder. Double click on lib folder. Control A. Open them. Now, after adding all the jar files, nearly 13 jar files will be added here. 13 jar files. Observe here, all of you. When I click apply and close, I can see all my jar files. So far, we see only standalone, right? Now see, if you want to work with Excel operations, these jar files must and should be added to your project. Suppose, if you're planning to work on this orange HRM, what you do, guys? If you want to work with Excel operations,
add all these files under the orange.
Not only this jar file, we should also add standalone. How do you know there is no standalone jar file under this project? Anybody? How do you know there is no standalone server jar file? How do you know that?
Reference libraries.
No reference library.
Yes, that's what that's how the way we have to catch out. When there is no reference libraries, when you don't know reference libraries, you have to understand no jar files have been added for that project. No jar files are added for that particular project. This is basic things you have to remember. Okay. Yes. Now you're eligible to work with this Excel. First, let me a simple example. How to first before working with the Excel methods, all of you guys, what you do, open your Excel sheet. Now we have to take data from Excel only. Open your Excel sheet and take 3 columns. I'm taking 3 columns here in sheet number 1. 3 columns. You can fit them, no problem. You can fit all border. It's not mandatory. It's up to you. Okay, bold it and some. I'm taking 3 columns. One is called username column and one is called password column. Means I want to store username and password data, and I'm storing one results column. 2 columns for reading, 1 column for writing purpose I'm using. And rename sheet 1 as login, L capital login. Rename is up to you. Make it not a problem. And store your data, dummy data. We are not doing against application, just to understand all the methods. Then we'll start data driven framework. So test 1, admin 1. Store some dummy data, whatever you want, just to practice purpose. Okay. Now try to save this Excel into some drive. By default, I'm saving 2007. So latest version only, don't worry. I'm saving into F drive. I'm just giving that name as sample. My file name, Excel file name is sample. Okay, save it. Okay, done. This is a person. Now, what is my requirement here is, I want to get this workbook. From that workbook, I want to get a sheet. From that sheet, I want to get a rows. From that rows, I want count number of rows in that sheet. And I want get first row. I want count number of columns in first row. And next step is, I want retrieve this username column. And I want to retrieve first column, second row data. Second column, second row data. Means I want read specific row column data. Okay, how it is possible. Okay, let us see. First create one Java class and give that package name as September 18th and give the class name read data. Okay, select your main method. Soon after this, we'll forget main method and we'll go with the test strategy. Now, the first, see, I will write English first. Read path of Excel file, means get that file, Excel file. For that, what class we use? File, input stream, control space bar. We have to import packages compulsory. Java package, java.io. Okay. Create an object for that. F5 is equal to new file input stream control space bar again. Control space bar and try to specify the path of your Excel which you say right now. F drive : sample.xlsx. Why? Because I'm storing in latest version. Okay, na? This is from that's a reading the path of Excel. From that file, what we should get? Get workbook from file. We need to get workbook from that file, from the above file. So which class I should use? Anybody? What the class I should implement here? HSF, XSF or HSF? Class.
XSF.
Which class? XSF or HSF? Anybody?
XSF.
XSF, right? All of you guys. HSF or XSF?
XSF.
Yes or no? We have to go with what? X or HSF here?
X.
XSF, yes. So X, SSF, workbook, control space bar. Don't worry. Control space bar. Look at that. If you don't add that jar file, somebody I know, I'll get a mail again from people. Sir, what you see in your system, you see that packages I don't see in my system, means you're not added jar file. Without adding that 13 jar files, okay? Don't expect this one, okay? Because they're not belonging to WebDriver. Yes or no? They're belonging third parties. That's what we compulsory must add that jar file. So import this package. Look at that. The package will get imported. Define an object WB. I'm storing into WB is equal to new X SSF workbook. Control space bar again. Use control space bar. Here I don't want a blank workbook. I want to get a workbook from where? From a file. Yes or no? From input file stream. From where I want to get that? From F file. What is F file is holding? Workbook, the file, right? From that file, we are getting that workbook. Next hierarchy. After getting workbook, what we should do? Get sheet from WB, workbook.
Workbook.
Again, class. X, SSF, sheet, control space bar. Excuse me, control space bar, XSF sheet. Import package for that. So define object for that. WS is equal to, from where you get worksheet here, from where you get sheet,
Get sheet.
from where you get sheet, yeah, from where you should get a sheet, from workbook or from file.
Workbook.
What
Workbook.
object we define for workbook here? What object we
WB.
define for workbook? Look at that. Line number
WB.
14.
WB.
WB.
How to get a? I want to get a
WB
sheet
dot
with a name.
get sheet.
I want get with name. So dot
Get sheet.
get
Dot get
sheet
sheet.
or get sheeted. Look at that. Two methods are there. When you say get sheeted, you have to give number.
Index
When you
value.
say get sheet, you have to give the name of that sheet in which sheet your data is stored. I'm using get sheet. So what that sheet name?
Login. Login.
My sheet name. Yes. Don't follow my sheet names, please. Whatever names you provided in your system, you follow. Don't follow my paths. Many people are doing that. No. Okay. Sheet name is what that sheet name? Login. Yes. Next step is I want to get first row from sheet. I want get row from sheet. So what class I should use again here? X SSF row. Control space bar. Control space bar. So define an object for that row. Row is equal to, from where you get row?
It is
From sheet.
from work.
From sheet. From sheet. WB.
WS.
From workbook, from
Work.
sheet, and from
From where you get sheet rows, we get rows from where? From workbook or worksheet?
sheet.
Sheet.
Worksheet.
Where the sheet stored here? Look at that object we defined.
WS.
WS dot get
Get row.
Row.
Get row. Which row you want? Which row you want? First row. Why you are getting this first row? Because I want to count number of columns in first row. First row is having headers, right? First row is having headers. So row number. What that row number I can define first row means? 0.
Zero.
Zero.
Do you understand? Why I'm getting first row means just I want count how many rows, how many columns are there in first row. Yes or no? Rows are stored in, columns are stored in first row only, right? Next.
Yes.
Next step is count number of rows in a sheet. I want count in this login sheet. I want count number of rows. How do you count? Row count.
Get
row count.
last.
Yeah.
Get last row num.
Method is get last row number only, but what that counting row means, we want to know that we should know how many rows are there. I want print into my console tab means row count is integer type or not? Integer.
Yes.
Store into one variable. Store into one. I am storing into RC for my
Row
understanding.
num.
RC means
Row
row count.
count.
RC is equal to from where you get count, from where you count rows from sheet. What object we defined here for sheet?
WS.
Methods we should access with help of that objects. Remember, dot get last row num.
Num.
Look at that integer type. The data type is what? Integer type. So now the number of rows will be stored in which variable?
RC.
RC. Number of columns in first row will be stored in which variable? Number of columns in first row will be stored in which variable? Row variable. Row variable. Look at that line number 19. Line number 19. Number of rows, number of columns in first row will be stored in which variable? Row variable. Now print them. Print both of them. System dot out dot. First I want print number of rows where? In a sheet colon where the store? RC. RC. And the same time not only counting rows, here we have to count columns also, right? Count them. Count number of cells. Where? Cells in
Row.
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 Count it. Row column count is
Int.
also integer types, right?
Integer.
Integer. CC.
CC.
Column count.
Column count is
Any
equal
variable you
to
can define is equal to, from where you get column count, I want count only in first row. Where that first row stored already, line number 19. First row, first row. Huh?
row in the row.
Row, yes. Row dot, what the method we use? Row dot
Get last column count.
last cell num.
Cell num.
Look at that. Get last cell num. Short form, it's short form, right? Now that number of columns in first row stored in which variable?
CC.
CC. Print here. Plus double quotation. Okay. I just want some space. I want some space. Plus in single message I'm writing number of cells in first row colon plus CC. Okay, it will print how many rows are there in a sheet. It will print how many cells in a first row also. Okay, next my requirement. What is my requirement? I want to retrieve this username column data, this password column data, and I want to print second row first column data, second row second column data in that sheet. Print first column, second row, first cell data. Print second row, second cell data. Retrieve it. Look at that. Look at that. Username and password. What type of data both cells are stored? Look at that. What type of data they are stored?
String.
String type. So we have to store that respective, means we have to retrieve that column data from that sheet into your Selenium, right? So let us store them into string type variable. String. Let me store my username into username only. Username. Anything, variable is your choice. Username is equal to, go to sheet. Go to sheet. WS. Go to sheet. WS. WS dot get row. First we have get row. Which row it is? Which row you want to get?
Second
Test
row.
one. I want print test one. I want print test one. Second row, third row, or first row? What is it?
First.
Test one. Test one. I want print test one. I want to do test one. Tell me row
One.
number.
First.
First row or second row? First row or second row?
First row.
Row.
Second row now. Somebody says second row. First row or second row, yeah?
First row.
But still somebody says second row. Check it out, check it out. First or second, Amma? Tell me. Is it first or second row?
First row.
Second row.
Second row.
Because
Leave-
yeah, it starts from 0.
Leave first row for headers. First row is holding your headers. Leave that. Your data start from second row only. Now, know that we have to get second row only. Any row data you can get, but I want to print this second row data in first column. So, row number will be 1.
1.
Dot. From that row, what we want? We want get a cell. So, we use a method called get cell method.
Get cell.
Cell number. Username, cell number. Tell me username, cell number.
0.
Huh?
0.
0.
0.
Yes, 0. First column is 0. What data you want it from that? You want it string type data or integer type data?
String type data.
String type. So dot get string cell value. Look at that. Get string cell value. So now where that cell data will be stored? It will be stored into username variable. Yes or no?
Username.
The same way, look at that message written 27 line. Print second row, second column data. That second column is also a content string type only, right?
String.
String password
Password.
is equal to, go to sheet, ws dot get row. Which row it is?
1.
First row.
1.
Second row, right? Second row. Not
Second.
first row. Second row, second row.
Second row. Index
Second row, first, second column. Index number will be 1.
1.
Dot get
Get
cell.
cell 1.
Second cell 1. What about
1.
it also contains? Dot
String.
get
Get
string
string.
cell value.
Cell value.
And print sys out. Print username plus
Password.
plus password. Okay, na? Now, after printing the data, I want to close the file which I'm reading. This is a file which I'm reading. The file reading stored in which variable? F5 variable.
F5.
Close that file. F5 dot close. And I want to close my complete workbook. Complete workbook stored in which variable?
WB dot close. WB.
Okay. So here compulsory we have to go with what? Superclass throws throwable. Throws throwable. Compulsory. Okay. Now you can see. Let me check it out. Is it going to retrieve data? First count rows, count columns, and retrieve specific rows, specific column data. Let us see. How many rows are there in sheet? 6 rows. How many columns are there in first row? 3 columns. So it is retrieving. What is this test one? First column, second row data. Second column, second row data.
Second row.
I want to print test 6 admin 4. Test 6 admin 4. Go and change row number. Test 6. What is the row number?
7.
Test 6 I want print. Row number. Tell us, see that row number.
7.
7 or 6? 7 or 6, sir?
6.
7.
6, sir.
Huh?
6.
Because it's counted.
6, sir. 6.
6.
So 6.
I want print admin 5. Admin 5. Admin 5 in passport column. Admin 5. What is the total number you define?
5.
5.
Specific row, specific column. How do you get? I am telling you. Test 6, admin 5. Sixth row, which row it is? Fifth row data. Yes or no? So I want print all rows, each column. All rows first column data, all rows second column data. Then looping is required. Okay? For loop is required. That will see. Wait. This is how the way. See hierarchy. I'll show without classes also. I'll show you without classes also. We can write with using interfaces also. No problem. That also I'll show you how to use interfaces directly. Okay, guys? And but first what you do today? First thing. What you do first today? Download that jar file, Apache POI, and add them to your project. Don't forget. Many people are blindly working without adding. Okay? Don't do that. First add them and then start working with it. Save Excel like this, what I saved here, and check it out. Are you able to retrieve data or not? Then I'll show you. Next class, I'll show you how to retrieve data from rows and columns and all that. Okay? Okay, guys.
Tomorrow do we have class?
Tomorrow, I'm planning. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Did all of you practice all the code what we did so far? All of you?
No, not complete.
Oh, then completers. I think Shiva, you are still in the basic. I think. Jaswal, huh?
Yes, sir.
You
I
are
will
simply
practice
listening.
it.
You are simply listening classes. That's it. No practice going on. All of the rest of you guys. Priyanka, I think she's doing it every day. I'm getting mails from her. She's practicing everyday topics, but rest of you guys, I don't know. Going on. Then can I leave you this Saturday, Sunday? Will you complete that practicals, all of you?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Otherwise, no use here, please. Don't simply listen class. Listening class, we don't help you. Please. But once I start framework, it will be 90 mm scope. Remember that. Please complete all of them. Next week, I'll take 3 hours. Don't worry. Taking class on Saturday, Sunday is not a big issue for me. I can take. But you have to practice. That is, you have to practice them and you have to understand them. Next week, we'll have. And anyway, we are working on framework. Next week, we'll have 3 hours, 4 hours, no problem. Don't worry. Okay? So I'm leaving you this week only for practicing. Please, by Monday, I want to know everyone you have done up to today's class. Please, all of you. Complete and come.
Okay, sure,
Okay,
sir. Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Take seriously. Please, guys, all of you, take seriously. Take seriously and work out. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
See you
thank
Monday. See you on Monday then. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Right,
Happy
sir.
weekend.
Thank you, sir.